विज्ञानले नै समाज परिवर्तन गर्न सक्छ। प्रविधि अनुकूलनका लागि सहयोगी हुन्छ। यसलाई तल्लो तहसम्म पुर्याइनुपर्छ। ठाउँ अनुसारको प्रविधि विकास गरिए परिवर्तनसँग जुझ्न सक्ने हिम्मत समुदायसँग छ। काठमाडौँमा सम्पन्न माउन्टेन पिपुल एडप्टिङ टु चेन्ज नामको अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सम्मेलन यही निष्कर्षमा पुग्यो।
It's not every technology is suitable every place, so I think that's something that we need to target for specific regions, and also for what type of farmer this is useful, so farmer typologies, farmers' own priorities, farmers' resource base. I think once we internalize that, I think that becomes quite important.
We are using simple ICT tools of conveying this message across to the farmers in a simple to read SMS message on his mobile handset. Now this information is totally tailor-made, customized as per his requirement. So what are his pain points actually? So that was what we did as feedback. We did a survey to understand the pain points of a farmer and accordingly build solutions around those pain points.
परिवर्तनसँगै समुदायले आफूलाई समेत बदल्छ। स्थानीय स्तरको ज्ञानमा समुदाय सधैँ अनुभवी हुन्छ। त्यसैले समुदायले धान्न सक्ने प्रविधिको विकास गर्दै तल्लो तहसम्म मानिसहरूलाई सचेत बनाउनु अहिलेको आवश्यकता हो।
Sometimes even communities also act as innovators when they add on lot of innovative element to their own traditional practices, and in this way make some of their traditional skills more relevant to the present conditions of uncertain climate.
And I thought the language really obscure. The processes that were proposed were kind of linear, not talking to any policy process I kind of was familiar with. So I thought, why are we developing such confusing knowledge or concepts? To me, the question is fairly clear. How do you integrate climate change information and risks into things that you are already doing?
आर्थिक समृद्धिले नै अनुकूलनका कामलाई सजिलो बनाउँछ।
We cannot change the political decision maybe, but we can create best practice cases. What I am referring to by best practice cases here are cases that are revealing, that have the scalability, that have the easy, that can easily be internalized by people, and therefore that have the immediate relevance, immediate impact on the livelihood of the people. And this has, and we've experienced that can happen. One example is the commercial off-season vegetable production program that was introduced in the hills some 23 years ago in Nepal.
We just not only blame the policymakers and the practice, but the report itself, which at best takes care of 2 years, if you talk in terms of risk management, and it's the short-termism we need to be really concerned about. And secondly, from the experience from Pakistan to Canada to Nepal, spoken by the keynote speaker, I think it's again the lack of coordination, not only among the agencies, but among ministries, but among regional bodies at international level.
तर यो नै समस्या समाधानको सम्पूर्ण उपाय होइन। विकट र गरिबीका कारण पिछडिएको क्षेत्रलाई उपेक्षा गरेर गरिने विकास निर्माणका कामले असमानता झनै बढाउँछ। यसका कारण हुने बसाइसराई जलवायु परिवर्तनको कारक बन्छ। यसका लागि अहिले प्रचलनमा रहेको विकास प्रयासलाई नै परिवर्तन गर्नु आवश्यक छ। राज्य संरचना फेरिनुपर्छ र प्रविधिमा समुदायको पहुँच हुनुपर्छ।
And mountains sort of get divided by valleys, and if you go from one valley to the other, so many things change. Languages change, cultures change, habits change, and to bring them together is especially challenging. So again, from that perspective, these institutions that I was talking about, the need to create new forums and new arenas should be fundamental, especially in terms of devising these institutions as well as getting adequate funding for them.
There is also a need of integration of adaptation activities among various line ministries if we want to make a policy. And all those line ministries have to be taken on board. This is a key element in this whole process, and how we do that.
परिवर्तनसँग जुझ्न सञ्चार र समन्वयको त्यतिकै महत्त्व हुन्छ। त्यसैले यहाँ उठाइएका महत्त्वपूर्ण सवालहरूलाई बिर्सनु हुँदैन।
I think we need to work hard to create mechanisms for collective reflection and learning among researchers, policymakers, practitioners, and communities. especially the most marginalized communities, including the indigenous people, women, and other marginalized groups. Good practices exist. I think we heard a lot of good practices were shared, and there is a need to promote more, and perhaps we need to also create new forums to share those.
हिन्दू कुश हिमालय क्षेत्रका नीति निर्माताहरू र वैज्ञानिकहरूले उठाएका यस्ता सवालले अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय समुदायको ध्यान आकर्षित गर्छ।
To use these maps as an instrument to take into account the mountain concerns while formulating maps. And I think this I would see as a very important opportunity to tap into while raising the mountain issues into the adaptation agenda.
Negotiations for collectively raising the voices of mountain people are very, very important. And to expose the world, the global agenda, and those decision makers to what those vulnerabilities are, and then what they need to do in terms of the targeted programmatic and types of support that's out there that have to be brought together.
One of the key messages for me is to growing vulnerability of the poor and marginalized impacts of the climate change, especially the risk and vulnerability from hazards resulting from extreme events, and the urgent need for us to ensure immediate action.
So, being the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee of National Food Security and Research, I shall look upon the outputs with the lens of national food security. Our government of Pakistan is developing national food security policy, which is at the final stages of its formulation. The output will be useful to refine the final version of this policy document.
We can definitely take this forward in many different ways. One is through the ideas that have been generated here. We actually have a lot of field sites with local communities right across the Hindu Kush Himalayan region. So we will take many of the ideas and put them into action through pilot testing and trying to upscale this. So that's something immediately we can do. Second, we can facilitate knowledge sharing. I think like we've done today, we can do more of that in the future. I hope that's beneficial. I'm sure it is amongst participants in our regional member countries and beyond. Third, I think what's come out is the importance of the NAP process, and we're there to also to help. I think it's ICIMOD and it's ICIMOD plus partners, so we can work together to help in that NAP process too.
अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय समुदाय र नीति निर्माताहरूले साथ दिने हो भने समुदायमा काम गर्ने मानिसहरूको मनोबल बढ्ने पक्का छ.
So that difference is important to make. Technology wise, it's a very simple technology costing around 30,000 rupees for one system, and one system can benefit 8 to 10 villages which are on that particular river. So the system is placed on one of the rivers in the upstream, and there's a receiver which is there at somebody's house, nearby house, and the water level is, if it is the water level increases, there's a sensor there, and it receives the sense that water level is increasing, level 1, level 2, level 3, and it sends the signal to that house where the receiver is there. And then this house owner can send SMS to downstream that look, here the water level has increased. That basically means the downstream community knows that in 1 hour time or 2 hours time, the water will increase here also. And with that, they can sift some of the things.
Wanting to share ideas, but also generate ideas. And then secondly, we want to build strong networks. So if you're somebody in Afghanistan, maybe you can contact somebody from Nepal or somebody in Myanmar. Hey, I have this similar something. Let's get that together. Then I also think bringing a number of people together like this, professionals, we can also raise a stronger voice with the governments in the region as well too. So we do have several government officials here too. So it's a special partnership event meant for many purposes. Not something we do all the time. This is a special.
It's impacting on the Himalayas. It doesn't discriminate whether this Himalaya is within the Nepalese territory or Chinese territory, or even in the Bangladesh or in India. That's why we all must come together.